through our wrestling, our punches, our kicks, everything is just so solid that it was unquestionable, and it got over big time. The people loved it. You could believe in our matches, and then I mean, and they were entertaining, and that's the whole name of the game. You want to be entertaining. That's what we're out there to do.
Greg told me too, like you mentioned, he didn't like to sell that much. He also didn't like to do jobs. Obviously, he would still do jobs, but if he didn't want to do a job, what would he tell them? Would he just try and come up with a different finish, or would he just flat out say he's not doing it? Would he try and get you to take the pin?
He didn't have to really. Neither one of us really had to do jobs. A couple of times now, actually, he took he took the loss, and they pinned him in WrestleMania 2. And while the referee's holding my leg, I couldn't get in to help Nick save. But and then a few occasions, like maybe Anaheim, California, against the Sheik and Volkov, or in Maple Leaf Garden one time, I think, against the Bulldogs. We had a match, and Greg wound up. They got the pin on Greg, so we were coming back again in another match, and I think we came back like in a cage match and stuff. And so I mean, we weren't asked to do a lot of jobs. He wasn't asked to do a lot of jobs, but I remember he did. He got pinned a few times, and I got pinned a couple times maybe. Wasn't a lot. I mean, we never lost matches hardly. I mean, we worked DQs or countouts or this or that, but we weren't getting counted out 1, 2, 3 very much at all.
A lot of people say that you had the best match of WrestleMania 2. Do you think now that they're putting matches into the WWE Hall of Fame, starting with Austin and Bret Hart this year, that your WrestleMania 2 match against the Bulldogs could go in there in the future?
Oh, easily. Have you watched that match lately? I mean,
not since I was a kid, actually. I should go back and watch it again.
You should watch it, because Davey Boy and I did a move that I never rehearsed with him, but he trusted me. We were always did this thing where I'd have him like in a semi kind of sleeper thing or a headlock or something, and he would do this flip all the way over and come down behind me and then work in the spots. I mean, he did the press slams with me. I'd be extending up pushing off his shoulder, and I mean, just as high as he could get me in the air and everything. And so what we did was, it's like I'd have an arm bar on him from behind. That's what it was. And then he would do the flip over the back. So we went to do that, and we went down, and normally where he'd flip over the top, I held them out at head level with his arms still behind his back, and I brought him down perfectly flat. And I'm telling you, it looks like I killed him. Like it should have just broke his arm. That's it. Done. It was amazing. And we never practiced it. We never even talked about doing it. I just started up before the match, asked him if he would do it. He said, sure. And I took care of him. Boom. And then we kept going. I mean, it was a great match. It was a tremendous match. We just, those guys were fantastic, and we had fun. It was, I hate to say it, I love the guys, but they weren't prepared to get the belts yet. They just, it wasn't really the time for me to get belts. They floundered. They only had Captain Lou to try to talk for them and stuff. They just didn't have it down enough to really have the belts. And it would have been better, because that's the way it works. You leave the belts on the heels. The baby faces are chasing them all around. The people come because what? They want to see them beat the bad guys and win the belts, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's one of the main appeals. So if the baby faces have the belts, what's the incentive?
Yeah.
To come watch the match. They've already got the belts. So, if they'd have left the belts on us, we could have kept going for another year. There was plenty of stuff, plenty of towns, plenty of cities and states. And, and they could have chased us, and they could beat us almost every night, but not get the belts, and just go and go and go. But they took the belts off us, and then then WrestleMania 3, they split me and Greg up. It was a George Scott thing. George Scott was the booker there, I think. And he was one of Greg knew him well, was his buddy, like from the Carolinas and everything. I didn't know the guy at all. But there was always something. We always seemed to be somehow in the shit house and, in the outhouse with this guy. And so then, they broke us up, which was, I was having a great time doing the heel thing, tag with Greg. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And I learned a lot from Greg, and he taught me the road, like being in New York and Jersey and stuff. Cause learning how to get your way around New York City and Long Island and Jersey and all that it's a horror story. And Greg was good at it, and he knew all the places, all the shortcuts, and he showed me how to get around, and it worked out good. Because once I went on my own as a babyface, then I needed that, because I'm not really traveling with anybody, and I'm on my own to get everywhere, and so it prepared me to be on my own and to flourish.
And you certainly did. Could you tell us a bit more about the travel, which was absolutely horrible back then? But wrestling was so popular, they needed you guys in 3 towns a night because you were drawing, you were selling out.
We were selling out every night. Yeah, people don't understand how many people say, "How much did you work?" Blah, blah, blah. We worked 355 days, and on those 355 days,